At a certain point in your guitar journey, you may stop chasing speed and start chasing feel. And no, I don't mean, you gotta play with feel. No, I mean feeling. A riff that makes you feel something inside when you play it, and it makes you better as a result. You want riffs that stick with you, that sound good in the room, that pull something better out of your playing every time you pick up the guitar. Today I'm walking you through a handful of riffs that I've learned over the years that do exactly that. They're not entry-level riffs, but they're not exactly the most challenging riffs to play, and they'll refine your timing, touch, and tone. And I'll be playing these riffs on the Enya Inspire, a new smart guitar from Enya Music. Thank you to them for sponsoring this video. There's so many fun things to explore with this guitar as we move through the list, but more on that in a moment. Let's get to the first riff. Slower. Now, this is a Joe Satriani tune called Circles, and if you'll notice, I'm playing through the computer right now. I have a direct line output into my recording interface, but this is the sound of the guitar. If I were to unplug this and just use the onboard speaker, pretty awesome. Various amounts of presets, and there's also a headphone input for this, as well as a USB-C charging cable. You can hook this up to your phone, edit the presets in there, as well as use this wireless foot switch to switch between multiple presets within each preset. But to keep things simple, we're just gonna cycle through using this little handy knob. So we'll plug back in here, and this is also a completely carbon fiber guitar. So the neck is carbon fiber, means it doesn't matter if it's 150 degrees like it typically is here in Nashville this summer. This guitar is not going out of tune because it can't warp. The neck is smooth, which is exactly like this riff from Joe Satriani. They're fairly simple chord voicings here, but the important part is to ring them out appropriately without ringing these very in-tune strings. What your tendency with this riff will be to do is to ring all the strings out and just play it. Which, you know, it sounds okay, but the nuance, the subtlety, that's what makes this riff really worth practicing, because it matters where the notes aren't. Add in a little bit of droning E, very subtly. And we want to make sure to keep those strings in check. That whole intro is really worth learning, but I could just loop that one over and over, going in circles. Get it? Ha! Moving on to the next riff that really taught me guitar and that I use to practice and get better to this day. We're gonna flip over to the next preset, which is a crunch preset, and we're gonna tune to drop D. That is a riff from a Tool song called Vicarious, and it's an underrated part of that song. There's so many great riffs in so many great Tool songs that go overlooked. But this one is particularly useful as a practice mechanism because of this stretch here. We got a drop D situation, so we have F note, and we have an F note here, which is where we're eventually arriving to, so we go E, which is not a great sound on its own, but resolving to the octave F, And then you've got this little kind of compression thing, this shrinking conflation happening between the two fingers, which is a nice little exercise in itself from the 5 and the 7th fret. So you could just practice. Using this delightfully crunchy preset, we can truly appreciate the genius of Adam Jones and what he can do with anything drop D and a little bit of odd feel. And the next tone in this list is maybe the most misplayed riff of all of these. I don't care who you are, that sounds awesome. This riff always makes me feel happy when I play it. Again, these riffs are all sort of my own mind's eye of what I could just play over and over. I'm stranded on a desert island and I can only play 5 riffs ever again. It's probably these 5 in this video. So what makes this one fun, not only is it the articulate motion you have to have between these notes, and I'm kind of over embellishing the chicken pickin' twanginess of it. I just think it sounds cool like that. I don't know, play it your own way. But the point is, you're ringing all these notes out, and that's a through line of all these riffs, is all these notes have to ring evenly and yet without each other in certain moments. You don't want to ring them all together, because then you can get something like this. Maybe you didn't hear that much of a difference, but there was a lot of string noise versus. You can feel the groove on that, so when you do go into that weird flipped beat, you know, I don't even have to play it correctly to be on the beat with it, and that is what great riffs do. I tend to take them and make them my own, and they're malleable in that way. There's a cool little feature here. This splits the humbucker. It's some sort of parallel series wiring where you have the humbucker sound. Really makes it nice and chimey. Go to this second position. Pushed in. I think that is such a cool feature. It's really like a real guitar. I know smart guitars can be hit or miss with some people. Even just looking at this, people will maybe be turned off. But I've been following the smart guitar industry for a while, as you guys know if you watch my channel. And this is definitely the cream of the crop. This honestly would look like a real guitar if somebody didn't have their glasses on, and it would sound absolutely like one, maybe even better than most electric guitars. Ooh. Heresy to say that, I know. But the fourth riff isn't a riff at all. It's just sounds. It's just chords. Here are my 5 favorite open-voiced chords and where they came from. This one came from a John Mayer song. I believe this one came from like an Eric Gales jam that I saw. The next one would be this, which is just a G sus4 chord, and this can be found in a lot of different stuff, but I really like this chord because it's movable. Really nice sound there. Another chord that's really nice sounding is just this A chord. You can insert that one everywhere. I think I found that in some Incubus song. The last one is a bar chord. but it's either F or F sharp. You really can't take advantage enough of the open strings over an F or F sharp bar chord. They both sound glorious. But I've been messing with these chord shapes for years. Really fun stuff there. And I now should move to the final song because I'm gonna have to muster up the strength, the courage, the distortion. Let's go ahead and put that series parallel back in. Go over to the distortion Guitar Hero preset that I have programmed beautifully in this app. You can already hear that hum coming. Maybe I'll turn on the humbucker. That was it. Just a beautiful little A major sweep tapping arpeggio. And of course, Vinnie Moore plays this with extreme aggression and probably the neck pickup, to be honest. That's honestly how fast it is, but he plays it probably a little bit cleaner than I. But the point about this is not that I'm trying to be a guitar god, it's that I'm understanding harmony for the first time hearing this, even though I didn't realize it necessarily at that exact moment. But I understood that, whoa, all those notes seem to make sense to each other, and it's not just a pentatonic run. You know, that's what I was used to, but hearing something so you know, musical, for lack of a better word, just painted a broader picture of what music could be, and especially guitar playing. Vinnie Moore is one of my favorite guitar players, very underrated, I think, in the guitar community as a whole, but Meltdown is what that song is from, and it's still one of the tunes that I come back to this day just to be inspired by. And that's what these riffs should do, is even if you can't play them, you can find ways to make them your own, and if they make you pick up the guitar, then all the more power to them. This guitar, I pick it up because it's portable and available, and I don't care what it says on the headstock, I just care what it does for my guitar playing, which is enhance it, because I'm doing it more, because I just find that this is easier to pick it up. Of course, I could plug this into my pedal board, into my huge amp, and use this just like a regular guitar. It works absolutely like a regular guitar, but I can also use it for so many other things, including teaching or any sort of YouTube work or just noodling around. Like I said, this thing's got the onboard speaker, the battery life. You know, I haven't charged it yet and I've owned it for a month.
Sometimes you don't appreciate the value of portability and smart tech until you actually owned a guitar like this. It kind of changes everything, and that's the convenience I didn't realize I needed until I had it.
I'm just really impressed by the Enya Music Inspire, so I encourage you to check the link in the description if you're interested in this guitar, and also let me know what riff changed your guitar routine, whether it was a riff you added into your practice or after you learned it, your guitar playing transformed. I'd love to know and learn them myself. I appreciate you watching, and until the next video, keep shredding.